I know it's been a while. Lots been going on. I got like a new job, and then my computer broke, and my camera broke. But I'm back, and so I'm catching up. I have a bunch of reviews I'll be doing for you guys today. Today's review is going to be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I pulled up the cover on Google because I only have it on my Kindle. And it's a book, obviously, about a teenage girl who has terminal cancer. And you know she has terminal cancer right off the bat. She's very, very sick. She goes around with the oxygen tank and the little nose things, and I can't remember what they're called. And obviously all that she wants to do is, any teenager wants, especially a sick teenager wants to do, is be a normal girl, but you can't when you're terminal. Part of being a cancer patient is you go to support groups. And she goes to one that has people who are in remission and people with cancer. It's a, support group of teenagers that understand what each other are going through. She doesn't particularly like the support groups, but her parents insist. And during one of these support groups, she meets Augustus Waters. And he's attractive, and he's funny, and he's smart, and he's metaphorical, and he's ridiculous. And as an adult, you look at him and you're like, you're ridiculous. But you like him anyway. He has a kind of charm to him. And it's basically them going through various things together. I really like this book. I was actually really surprised. I read it because everyone kept telling me that I should, and one of the stories that I've written, someone told me that it was reminiscent of The Fault in Our Stars, which I didn't know whether to be offended or complimented by. Anyway, it is a young adult book, but it's deeper and it's better written than a lot of adult books that you find. I know young adult is just a title, and it's a title that turns away a lot of people, and it really shouldn't, because there's a lot of good things to find in young adult. Anyway, back to The Fault in Our Stars. I read it, didn't expect to like it, went in, was like, I have to read this because it's everywhere, and I kind of liked the trailer for the movie. And I read it in about a day. I started it late one night, and I read about 50 pages, and then I woke up the next day, and I finished it. I was very captured by the characters and by their interactions and by how real they felt. It's really hard to sell romance to me. I mean, romance, I know, is part of books that you find, and it's going to be in just about everything that you read, but I don't usually buy it. I usually tolerate it, because it's part of a bigger story, and if it's done well, then it's not annoying. But in a young adult, romance tends to be more prevalent, and it's not necessarily terribly realistic. Especially lately, young adult has been based on like the Twilight stuff and the Hunger Games stuff, which, well, I like the Hunger Games well enough. I don't like the romance, and it doesn't teach good things about what it means to be in a relationship. And I think The Fault in Our Stars does a much better job, because Augustus and Hazel are independent of each other, and they survive without each other, but they change because of each other, and you see their change, and you see how being in a relationship can really affect you. Hazel never becomes dependent on Augustus, and Augustus never becomes dependent on Hazel, which I liked. But also, I mean, in addition to the realism of the romance and the realism of the characters, it was just, there was something inexplicably touching about it. There was something that was just moving. I cried. I'm not a crier. I don't cry at books. It's one of 2 books I've ever cried over. But I'm not a crier. I don't cry at movies. I don't cry at books. I'm not a crier. But I was weeping. And I knew what was going to happen for about 100 pages. And I still cried when I got to certain parts of the book, which is, I think, a testament to how moving it is and how well written it is. I don't have any complaints about this book, other than, I wish it had been longer, but if it had been longer, it probably wouldn't have been very good, or wouldn't have been as good. It's a really good book. I really recommend it. Whether you're a fan of young adult or not, I highly suggest The Fault in Our Stars. It's really good. It's really good for getting through a rough time. I bought it for a friend of mine who was going through a rough time, and she liked it. I just recommend that you read it. It's there's something really moving, there's something really touching about it, and I really couldn't tell you what it is, but I recommend it.